I just think capitalism is stupid and it doesn't work. I mean, obviously, look at our country, it doesn't work.
Okay, can we pause?
Capitalism is bad. I don't like it.
We are going to exploit most of everyone, especially those that work. Well, we workers are not going to take that. We are going to seize the means of production and make the workplace more democratic. We believe that a society should be based on the principle of to each according to their need and from each according to their ability. We will violently ensure that capitalism stays in power, and we will anyone that does not go along with our program. I think we should hear both sides.
What? Hey there guys, my name is Tyler and welcome back to another TyTalk. In today's video, I'm going to be explaining what capitalism is, since most people either don't understand it or are blatantly lying to you about what it is. If you know anything about my channel, you know that slave morality is to blame for this. And if you don't know anything about my channel or slave morality, let me give a quick summary before heading into the rest of the video. Nietzsche observed that there were two distinct moralities for people: a master morality and a slave morality. The master establishes morality and determines what is good and what is bad. The slave, being weak and inferior, cannot establish morality but can only redefine what morality is. So if the master says it's good to be strong, the slave will say it's good to be weak. They will almost always do the opposite because they have had their morality inverted. Everything that is good, they will view as bad. If there was a political, economic, and social structure based on slave morality, or based on everything that is wrong with society, it would be called communism. Socialism, which is a stepping stone to communism, is currently on the rise because of slave morality. I bet you didn't know that capitalism has failed and the only way forward is through socialism. No, capitalism has not failed, and if these people knew anything about anything, they would know that the current failures of our system are not capitalism. So, before we get going, thank you for clicking on this video and giving it a watch. Don't forget to do all of those things down below to help my channel out so I can keep making this content for you. What is capitalism? In short, capitalism can be described as a widely adopted economic system in which there is private ownership of the means of production. The means of production refer to the resources and tools used to produce goods and services in an economic system. This includes land, raw materials, factories, machinery, and other capital goods that are necessary for the production process. To further expand on the definition of capitalism, modern capitalist systems usually include a market-oriented economy in which the production and pricing of goods, as well as the income of individuals, are dictated to a greater extent by market forces resulting from interactions between private businesses and individuals rather than by central planning undertaken by a government or local institution. Capitalism is built on the concepts of private property, profit motive, and market competition. This idea was first developed by Adam Smith in 1776, the year of our founding, when he wrote a book called The Wealth of Nations. He was a Scottish political economist and is largely considered to be the father of capitalism and modern economics. Smith is also the man who coined the economics term, the invisible hand. The invisible hand is a metaphor for the unseen forces that move the free market economy. Or, in more basic terms, the invisible hand is human behavior. The invisible hand is supply and demand. So, capitalism is an economic system based on private property ownership, market competition, and supply and demand. The modern definition includes the profit motive, but what Smith said was that people would and should be governed by their own self-interest, and that profit is a byproduct of that self-interest. Smith wrote that it is not from the benevolence of the butcher, the brewer, or the baker that we expect our dinner, but from their regard to their own self-interest. This to me is an admission that you cannot rely on people to do things out of the kindness of their heart alone. That you are eating tonight because the butcher, the brewer, the baker, they have provided you a service that they can benefit from. Smith furthers this idea of indifference by giving 3 duties of the sovereign or the government, with one of those duties being the duty of protecting, as far as possible, every member of the society from the injustice or oppression of every other member of it, or the duty of exact administration of justice. So the founder of capitalism, the father of economics, acknowledges that people will be driven by their own self-interests, profit being one of them, and that the state must step in and provide regulations to protect every member of society from every other member. He even advocated for the taxation of citizens to pay for social welfare programs like financial relief for the poor and public education. I'm going to say that part again. The father of capitalism was an advocate of not only a progressive income tax, but using those taxes to help provide for the poor and general welfare of the citizens. I say that because socialists love to claim that social welfare programs are socialism. They're not. Socialism is state-controlled means of production, so when a socialist tells you something like, oh, we have public education and that's socialism, they're lying to you. Social welfare does not equal socialism. But before I start shitting all over socialists and communists, one of the things that hasn't been mentioned about capitalism so far is a thing called voluntary exchange. This is the act of buyers and sellers freely and willingly engaging in market transactions. This basically negates almost every communist argument, since they believe that capitalism leads to exploitation. This is, of course, because they don't know what words mean thanks to slave morality and redefinition. Exploitation is the act or fact of treating someone unfairly in order to benefit from their work. Now, of course, they will likely say that what they really mean is exploitation of labor, which is defined as an unjust social relationship based on an asymmetry of power or unequal exchange of value between workers and their employers. Now, I'm going to ignore that capitalism is fundamentally against exploitation and demands that the state intervene. I'm also going to ignore that these people think that profit is theft. I'm going to focus on the definitions. How is it exploitation? The act of treating someone unfairly in order to benefit from them when you are freely and willingly engaged in this transaction. What about freely and willingly selling your labor to an employer is an unjust social relationship? Because an unjust social relationship is a pattern of unfair treatment or unequal access to resources, rights, and opportunities within a society. So you all think that by you knowingly and willingly getting a job, that is a pattern of unfair treatment. Oh, these people are so dumb. Moving on. We know what capitalism is, but do we know what capitalism isn't? People say, look at how screwed up the capitalists have made our healthcare system. Oh, you mean the system where they don't disclose the price ahead of time? You mean the one where the government has said that insurance companies must buy licenses in other states if they want to provide services there? You mean the one where the government mandated that you buy a private good, insurance, or else you will be financially punished for not buying this private good? You may not know this, but that literally doesn't exist in any other situation. Obamacare is a nightmare, and it was the first time that the government said, buy a good for existing or else. The moron, that is Obama, said, oh, it's just like car insurance. No, it's not. I'm not required to buy car insurance if I exist. I need to buy car insurance if I own a car. But back to the point. These people think that the guys that are for voluntary exchange, market forces, and against fraud are the ones that screwed with healthcare. No, that's not capitalism. Well, look at how expensive houses have gotten. Capitalism has ruined housing. Oh, you mean the industry that is massively regulated by the government to stifle supply. You think a capitalist came in and said, we shouldn't build any more houses. You think the heavily democratic California that has mandated up to 95.8% of residential land be assigned to single-family homes only is from people that want more competition. No, that's not capitalism. Well, look at all the wealth inequality. That's the result of capitalism. This is why we can't talk to each other. Yes, there is wealth inequality, but no one has been able to tell me why I should care that some people have more than me and some people have less than me. Who said, per usual, honest question, and I really want to know the answer to this one, but who said we are supposed to have equal wealth? No. It's not Marx in communism. He's against having money, so without money, no wealth. Unless, of course, you think that having the exact same toaster as your neighbors is still considered wealth. But again, honest question, who the fuck ever said that we are supposed to have the exact same amount of money as everyone else? How do you possibly think that will ever work? The second that I buy something is the second that we are no longer equal. What other arguments are there?
Capitalism is unstable. Capitalism is unequal. And capitalism is fundamentally undemocratic.
Yeah, no shit it's unstable. Name an economic system that is stable. Go for it, Wolf. You're a Harvard grad and a professor of economics. Do it. Name an economic system that isn't unstable. Soviet Union? Not a chance. Management and inefficiency in state-owned enterprises led to recurrent shortages of many consumer goods, especially agricultural products. Of course they screwed that up. They're following Marx, who was an idiot and who didn't know anything about economics. All right, what's next? Unequal. Yes. Slaves and their fallacies. This one is known as a category error. A category error is a semantic or ontological mistake where something is assigned to a category to which it does not belong or is treated as having a property it logically cannot have. Yeah, no shit it's unequal. Who the fuck said we're supposed to get the exact same things? We are not equal. We never have been. We never will be. Even the brainless Marx said it without saying it. From each according to his ability, to each according to his needs. We have different needs. Because of that, we will get different things, which makes us unequal. I am 6'3", 285 pounds. You seriously think that we will have the same needs when it comes to food? That has nothing to do with wealth. Just simply for my system to keep functioning, I need more than you. What was that last one? Right. Undemocratic. Category error again. Yeah, no shit, it's undemocratic. Who said that the economy is supposed to be democratic? Who said that my life and well-being should be voted on by the masses? What is wrong with you people that you have these thoughts in your head? Oh, right. Slave morality. You live in a bizarro world where good is bad and bad is good. We need democratic socialism. We need to seize the means of production. That way, everyone owns everything, and we vote on how we use everything. That means every tree, every stone, every ounce of water. We all collectively own, and we all vote on. Yeah, that's a great system. And what happens when the 51% decides that the 41% don't need water? Oh, that's right. They die. Just like how you starved 5 million Ukrainians during the Holodomor. You know, when Stalin and the other Russians decided that some people just shouldn't eat. You think that is a good system? I doubt that you know this, Wolf, but under capitalism, we can't decide if you eat or not. There is no vote. Actually, you know what? Maybe I do want it to be a democracy. Maybe I do want the majority of people to vote against you and ensure that you and your kind never receive a single resource again. This is a system that you want, which is ironic considering the country that your parents fled from. Not to mention the fact that you can look at a grocery store and think, all of this food sitting here waiting for people to buy it. Well, that's wrong, and we can't have that. There shouldn't even be grocery stores. People should just get all of the goods they could ever need shipped right to their homes. Excuse me, I mean housing blocks. Because you don't believe in homes. No private property, right, Marx? I mean, Wolf? Can't have people living in different homes. No, no! We must have equality. The current economic failures are not capitalistic. To be fair, that doesn't make them socialistic or communistic either. This is a huge point that commies love to either forget or are too stupid to realize. Is it a symptom of? This is a massive point of confusion for these people. They talk about poverty, murder, starvation, and blame capitalism for it. For all intents and purposes, capitalism was invented in 1776. Did we have poverty before that? Yes. Murder? Yes. Starvation? Yes. So how can capitalism be to blame when it doesn't even exist yet? These things are not caused by capitalism. They are not a symptom of capitalism. They are a symptom of humanity, just being human. But what about corporate greed? No, that's just greed. That's just human nature. We are flawed. We are corruptible. This is the exact reason why socialism and communism are stupid and will never work, because they are built on human nature. Capitalism takes this into account and does its best to regulate it. Socialism and communism just act like human nature doesn't even exist. We'll all have the exact same things and just get along. So, if it's not capitalism, then what is it? It's cronyism. It is the awarding of position, jobs, contracts, loans, privileges, or advantages to friends or colleagues. It is used especially in politics when referring to partiality between politicians and businesses. Why is healthcare so expensive? Cronyism. Why is housing so expensive? Cronyism. These are not failures of capitalism, but failures of the state. The government has failed us. The government is no longer performing its functions and duties. Hey, how much does a checkup cost? How much for an x-ray? What about an MRI? Oh, okay. We now know what the problem is. The prices are not disclosed, and because of that, I cannot freely and willingly buy your goods and services. The solution is to disclose what the services cost so those prices can openly compete against other prices. If prices are hidden, how can I compare prices? How is that fair competition? The solution is disclose the prices. It is not to make healthcare a right and make sure everyone pays for it. Just think about that. A supposedly functioning brain said that was the solution. It was told healthcare is expensive and we don't know how much things will cost. And the solution that it came up with was everyone should just pay for it. Pay for what? We don't know what it costs. Healthcare and insurance are so expensive because the government made laws to explicitly help out the insurance companies and providers. That is cronyism. This is the exact reason why socialism and communism will never work. They easily fall victim to cronyism, and where capitalism tries to regulate it, the communist says that it just won't happen. Every person in every system can fall victim to corruption. Another thing that communists love to call capitalism is monopolies. Yeah, that's not capitalism. That's the epitome of cronyism. Why do you think we developed antitrust laws to break up monopolies? Actually, first, let me ask you this. Do you know who supported the breaking up of monopolies and passing of antitrust laws? Senator John Sherman, who wrote the Sherman Act and owned several businesses. President Teddy Roosevelt, who signed it into law, owned 2 cattle ranches and was further backed by farmers and other small businesses. Capitalists got rid of monopolies to increase competition. Cronies want to eliminate competition. And what is the ultimate elimination of competition? You guessed it, socialism. When the state owns and runs everything, what could possibly go wrong with the elimination of competition? But, the greatest transfer of wealth to the rich happened during the lockdowns. Yeah, that's cronyism. That is the government failing to defend everyone equally. They took sides. They discriminated. They forced small businesses to close and allowed massive corporations to stay open. They picked the winners and they picked the losers. They awarded special privileges and advantages to their fucking friends. That's not capitalism. I really wanted to end the script on that line. It had so much punch to it. But I know that there are people hate watching me right now, ready to leave their stupid little comments below. So I figured I would throw out some more education about capitalism to make their heads explode. 2 things. Who created the first minimum wage and who caused the mass implementation of the 8-hour workday? Oh, you don't know? Oh, that's fine. Don't worry. I'll let you know. His name was Henry Ford. In 1914, he decided to pay his workers at least $5 a day, or about $20 an hour in today's money. He did this through not only increasing the pay of his workers, but also through profit sharing. Yes, Massachusetts had a minimum wage before that in 1912. However, that was only available to women and children under 18. It was not widely available for everyone, and it was only about 25 cents an hour compared to Ford's 62 cents. So why did Ford do this? Self-interest. Man, I wonder, who could have seen that coming? Ford believed that by paying his workers more, they would be more productive because they would be less worried about their financial situations. This would also help reduce turnover and attract higher quality workers. But I thought you said you were against the minimum wage. Yes, I am, when it is federally mandated. If a company increases their wages, that's actually incredible for the economy. This is one company changing its policies to increase its market value and attract better workers. When the state mandates it, there is no competition. Everyone pays the same price, and that kills smaller companies. You know what Henry Ford also said? There is one rule for the industrialists, and that is, make the best quality of goods possible at the lowest cost possible, paying the highest wages possible. So even one of the most renowned capitalists says to make as high a quality of a product as possible while paying as much as possible. You know what this $5 minimum wage did? It forced other companies to raise their wages as well to compete for the workers that Ford was getting. And you know what happened just a couple of years after this? The Roaring '20s. Now, honestly, I'm not going to say this is a direct cause, but it is one of the many factors that led into it. You know what killed the Roaring '20s? Cronyism. The government gave out special treatment to the wealthy and allowed their wealth to grow over others, which led to stock speculation and a bubble which then caused the Great Depression. Capitalists, like me, want things to be fair. Cronies want them to be unfair. Slaves want them to be unfair. They know that they can't go head to head, so they need the government to step in and give them special treatment. If you see the special treatment, that's not capitalism. We have a lot of economic issues that, chances are, we're going to agree on, but that's not capitalism. And every day I hear it being blamed for everything. I love that we have an abundance of food. I hate that they're poisoning it. You know why they are? Cronyism. Remember about capitalism? Best quality product. That's one of the goals. I also love how cool technology has gotten with cell phones. I hate that they're selling our data. I love how cheap flat screens have gotten. I hate that they're spying on us with them. Can you hear me right now?
No, we can't hear you.
All right, just checking. I love the convenience of online shopping and fast delivery, but I hate how Amazon crushes small businesses and fucks over their employees. But do you know why they're doing it? The second that you look at any government regulation that doesn't affect everyone fairly, guess what that is? I'll give you a hint. That's not capitalism. Hey there guys, thank you so much for watching that video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't already, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you all in the next one. Thank you again so much for watching.